What's going on, champs and champettes? I'm in the bottom right today because we have some very interesting images and stuff I'm gonna have to show you guys for today's video. But does anyone remember the Lord of the Rings Gollum game that recently got announced, earlier this year, only for it to be hyped up because it's a Lord of the Rings game, and then absolutely flop on release, having only negative reviews and images like this being posted to the public? This is not a Xbox 360 era game. This right here, this image is for a game released on 2023 on next-gen devices, on PC, on all of those platforms, and this screenshot is an example of what Lord of the Rings Gollum had to offer once it officially released. As you guys can tell, it was a very interesting little, masterpiece or whatever you want to call it, and it only had bad reviews, right? It was one of the points where, a game has so many negative reviews on launch that they had to go ahead and make an official statement here. Now, I'm going to point out some very specific parts of this as we read the statement to you guys, but you'll need to keep those the parts that I actually point out in mind once we finish reading it. So it basically says, "Dear players, we would like to sincerely apologize for the underwhelming experience many of you have had with the Lord of Ring Gollum." Not the Lord of the Rings Gollum, the Lord of Ring. I don't know how you messed that up, but you know what? I think I do understand why and how they ended up messing that up a little bit later. They also mentioned that this was upon its release. They acknowledge and deeply regret that the game did not meet the expectations they set for themselves or for their dedicated community, and they hope that the community accepts their sincere apologies for any disappointment that the whole entire game's launch may have caused. Their goal as a studio and as passionate Lord of the Rings fans, hey, they said it properly that time, has always been to tell a compelling and immersive story-driven adventure, crafting a story with Middle-earth as our playground, and it has been their greatest honor, and the biggest challenge they have faced so far. At Daedalic, or however you say the company's name, they understand a game's success relies on the enjoyment and satisfaction of its players. They genuinely value your feedback and have been actively listening to your voices, reading your comments, and analyzing the constructive criticism and suggestions that the community has provided to them. It sounds pretty standard right off the bat, but as we continue going through it, it continues talking about, look guys, we are sorry, we apologize, there's all these bad things that happen with the game, we're working diligently on crafting a good experience. You can only hope that the game's going to continue to improve over time, right? Well, we're sitting here, and the last update for the Lord of the Rings Gollum, by the way, if we look here at the cinematic trailer, this is in some ways slightly better graphics than I think what actually ended up releasing in the game. I mean, if you look at the screenshots, why are the screenshots so crusty? I don't even know. But if you look over here, the last update to the game was 73 days ago, and to this day, in terms of all the reviews, it is mostly negative with a SteamDB rating of 39.06. And if we scroll down here, firstly, the game is $50. Keep in mind, $50 game with this type of graphics. Oh boy, that's one worth it of a type of game. And I'm not one to really speculate on games graphics or whatever and being like, ugh, it looks terrible, because every game has their own little moments here and there that they have to keep in track, but it shouldn't be like that for a big game like this that has a whole entire $50 price tag, that has tons of stuff going on, tons of DLCs and everything. But they also have the Precious Edition for $60, which gives you a art exhibition, which I think is just a little booklet of the concept art or whatever else, the lore compendium, and now that is something I want to mention real quickly here. This is the dumbest thing ever, right? So this, which you could buy on itself for $5 or in a $60 bundle, makes it so that you can read the lore. That's it. It's DLC that gives you an interactive menu to learn more about the game's lore for $5. Why would you sell that? And emotes pack, $3 for an emote pack. They don't have any images or anything, at least last time I checked, of what the emotes are. How am I supposed to know what the $3 emote pack is? Am I going to be able to hit the Grady as Gollum? I have no clue, but it was so weird that just from this alone, it doesn't make sense to me, right? And even here, $3. You know what you get for your $3 right here? You get the Sindarian VO, which makes it so that you will have the Sindarian VO DLC, adding more authenticity to the game's experience by having the elves speak in Sindarian, the elvish language created by J.R.R. Tolkien. Now, this is the thing where it's hold on, you mean to tell me that if I want to have a more authentic experience in a Lord of the Rings game, I have to pay $3 so that the voice acting will be in a certain language. I have to pay $5 to have a lore book, $3 for an emote pack when you don't even advertise what the emotes are. It's look, it literally says this pack includes 6 iconic emotes. It doesn't tell you the emotes are, it's just hey, it includes it. And it was such a terrible system to have at launch, where it's for a game that, yeah, if we actually go over here to that last video that was playing, you can see at the very end, you have it on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, Steam, and the Nintendo Switch. But it's like, you know, in terms of everything happening here, it is just such a terrible way of marketing your game. I mean, having different things that should just be baseline put into the game at launch as DLCs is mind-boggling to me. And, you know, it makes sense because, like, if you look down here, right, if we look at the Precious Edition, no way, you get the art book, you get the, which has, like, original sketches, whatever, you get the lore book, the original soundtrack, the voice acting thing. It doesn't even advertise the emote pack because it's like, how are you supposed to know what the emotes even do? Wait, is this a different version? Wait, hold on. The emote pack's not even included in the $60 version? That's an extra $3 purchase? Oh man, they really want their money, huh? Anyways, if we actually continue going down here and look at the reviews, people are like, I got this game for free and I want a refund. And we have like tons of reviews. I mean, look at this. This is a long review about how terrible the game is and everything. This person refunded the project after 0.2 hours and mentioned that it's very buggy. There was like a whole entire better alternative being Shadow of Mordor and all this type of stuff. And just people talking about how terrible the game is. So you would think with the press, and like obviously down here you get some like interesting moments where people are just kind of like memeing on it, giving fake fun like recommended reviews. Like, I love having arguments with myself, or I love this game. My little mommy bought me this game and I love my little mommy, so I love this game. Like, you can tell that what they're doing here is kind of like memeing it every once in a while. You got some people actually leaving real reviews and getting clown emojis as reactions. But what if I told you that on top of this game having a terrible launch, on top of none of the actual updates or anything else really providing a bit of, you know, substantial extra bits of stuff to it, they wrote that apology that I'll put on screen once again using ChatGPT. They didn't even write the apology themselves. The apology was written by AI. They weren't sorry they sold you crap on a stick. They didn't give a crap. They literally were just like, hey, you know, look, we understand the game had a terrible launch. Don't worry, guys. We got the community's ideas in mind and we're going to improve it by writing the apology with AI. It's just crazy to think about it. And like, this is the lowest rated game of the year on Metacritic. And like, another thing to actually mention about this game is that the staff were not told about this apology letter before the studio put it out, right? The staff team that kind of, you know, oversaw types of stuff like this and should have been told about it, they were just left out of the know. They did not know that ChatGPT apology was going to be written. They literally just like, hey, ChatGPT, we want to be sorry about our game. Go make us an apology so that we can slap it on Photoshop with, you know, Lord of the Rings at the top, our like our logo at the bottom, and hope that everyone gets off of our back, right? It is just wild. And like right now, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of controversies and everything else, especially over on social media. I mean, non-stop recently. I've just been seeing thing after thing after thing after thing when it came to AI, right? When it came to all that type of stuff. So now, you know, while the whole entire AI debacle is currently going on regarding AI art and everything, having a company release a half-baked game and then having it expose that their apology was written by AI is just kind of mind-blowing to me, and it's kind of wild to really think about. But of course, I would love to hear your guys' opinions on the whole entire situation in the comments down below. How do you feel about the AI-written apologies? Do you think this is the future for companies being sorry about how their game is officially released? Or do you think that people are going to start catching on more and more? I mean, if we mentioned, you know, the whole entire The Lord of Ring Gollum. That had to have been an AI mistake. I refuse to think that the actual developers made that mistake themselves. Knowing that this was written by AI, I 100% feel like it was a mistake by the AI that was writing the actual apology. Because it just feels like they go on to say The Lord of the Rings afterwards, right, on the next paragraph. So it's like there's no way you wouldn't catch it on the first part and then catch it on the second part being like, oh wait, we gotta put the rings at the end, not Lord of Ring in there. And especially, you know, having no review process and everything, if there was a proper review process, that should have been caught. All of that stuff should have been seen, it should have been caught in the whole debacle before it was ever publicly released. But I think this news is just very interesting to me because of the fact that, you know, a lot of people were like, AI is the future, AI is not the future, blah blah blah. You know, there's the whole entire thing about like, if you make something with AI, is it really yours? You know, there's a lot of discussion going on with it right now, and seeing how game apologies are now being written by AI, oh boy, we are in for a journey, huh? We're down for a trip in the near future when it comes to game developers apologizing for their own mistakes, called being lazy. But until next time, hope champs and champions enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider subscribing to support the content I create. I'll catch you guys next time with another upload. Peace out.